Hello and welcome to everyone out there. My name is Don Putkela.
And I'm Angela Putkela.
And I'd like to welcome everyone to our podcast. If you haven't joined us before, our podcast is called Welcome to Livingston. It is a weekly podcast where we talk about everything Livingston County.
Yep, and as realtors on the Putkela group, part of KW Living, we are exposed to a lot of parts of the county and a lot of great things to be able to share.
Yes, and I'm really excited, or we're really excited about our podcast today because we're welcoming in the Howell Historic Theater in downtown Howell. So why don't we just introduce you? This is Tyler here from the Howell Historic Theater.
Tyler DePerro?
Yes, yes.
Great. And we've had dealings with you before as we've had client appreciation events.
Yes, you have, yeah.
So welcome. We're excited to have you today.
Thank you.
Yes.
I'm I don't know. I've listened to the podcast the last couple episodes. It's on my routine podcast list now. So and that theme song, I'm glad that you two were kind of dancing along because it's kind of it's like Santana type vibe.
Yes.
Yeah. Wanted to make it fun, you know.
You would not believe how many bits of music we had to sit through and listen to try to figure out what that was. So that was a fun
tone, yeah.
Yep, exactly. Yeah. No, we're really excited to have you in today because, having lived in Livingston County for so long and in Howell, the theater in downtown Howell is just, I don't want to say iconic, but it is such a major part of the community. You notice it the second you drive down there. Would you mind kind of introducing yourself a little bit and tell us a little bit about the theater?
Yes, I'm Tyler. I reopened the theater about 7 years ago. I moved to Howell for the theater. It had been closed before, it had been closed for maybe between 4 and 6 years. And I kind of took 2 years to kind of I was kind of looking for historical theater or building to kind of reopen as a movie theater or community space. So the theater itself is 93 years old. It opened originally December 11th, 1928, and it was built in 1927. It was the first talkie theater in Livingston County. It replaced the Temple, the Temple Theater. I'm blanking on that. There's a silent film theater right where Cello is at right now.
Okay.
And so the Howell Theater, opened that I think that might have burned down the Temple Theater originally, but the Howell Theater opened December 11th, 1928, and it was a large grand theater, and then over the years it got cut to two screens, so then today as a theater we show a range of movies from classic films to independent movies, blockbusters, community events, concerts. We have birthday parties and weddings, and host client appreciation events around the holidays. A little bit of everything. So it's it's a movie theater, but also a community space, and that's what makes it kind of a unique place to operate and own, and because it's like the different kinds of audiences and demographics kind of coming in, and one weekend we're showing. I don't know, right now we're showing Venom 2, and then shift over to more Halloween themed things, or we have like that. So the audience is always kind of changing, week to week.
Probably keeps it fresh that way. Keeps it interesting.
Right, and one of the things I wanted to ask, because that's so interesting, I didn't know that you specifically came to Howell to open the theater back up. That's so interesting. So what drew you to our theater in Howell to come here for that?
Yeah. So I liked the the placement of Howell, how it's near Lansing and Detroit and Ann Arbor, and Grand Rapids is kind of nearby, but it's in this it's the kind of the crossroads of all these larger cities. So our audience comes from to the Howell community and the Brighton community and Livingston County, but also we draw from Lansing and Ann Arbor and those other cities around us. So
Neat.
Right.
Oh, that's cool.
So some of our, we showed more like, I don't know, we showed that newest Nicolas Cage movie, The Prisoners of Ghostland. We were like the only theater in Michigan showing it. So like showing those more niche movies that kind of draws people from all over Michigan to kind of come out and expose us to a larger audience than just the local community.
Right, because I know, those small town, downtown theaters, I mean, every small town used to have one. And now there's so few of them left out there that to have that in our downtown, not only to be able to see the old movies, but I know years ago, a lot of those theaters went out of business when they had to upgrade their equipment to get the new digital movies.
Yes.
So it's wonderful that you've been able to have that.
Yeah.
As a resource for us.
Yeah.
Yeah, so one of the things we wanted to ask about is I know that you guys do a ton of community events, that you're part of the Livingston County and the downtown community and such. What are some of the events you've either done in the past or what do you have coming up?
Community event wise, on Sunday, we have the Pride Alliance event. They're showing Love, Simon, and October's coming out month. So like that's a group that we're working with for that event on Sunday at 3:30. It's a free event. They're showing Love, Simon, the Livingston County Pride Alliance. But we work with all other nonprofit groups in the community to host events and fundraisers and.
Right.
And Halloween coming up. I remember you mentioning that there's some Halloween events coming too.
Yeah, we have we have a couple of Halloween events. I have a little list here because there's so many Halloween things, but we have this is our 6th year for our 12-hour horror movie Invasion, sponsored by the Barking Lot. It's Saturday, October 16th. It's from 11 to 11. It's a whole day of classic horror movies. And that's, Saturday, October 16th. And there's one ticket price that's $48, and that includes all you can eat popcorn, fountain drink, and then the 6 movies plus a bonus movie that goes past the 11 o'clock end time that goes until 1:07 p.m. It's a surprise movie, so our running time, So we'll announce that surprise movie the night of. But people like guessing that surprise movie, so we put the running time out there, so maybe they can guess what it might be. But
right.
So that's going on, and then we have on starting on October 22nd. We have Meet the Unseen 7. So we work with Portal Paranormal. They do public ghost hunts. And they do 2 hunts per night starting on October 22nd. And that's from 9 to 11 and then midnight to 2 a.m. And then you can the idea is that like you can sit in with Portal Paranormal as they investigate kind of the paranormal activity in the theater because we're one of the most haunted locations in Livingston County. So they can find out more information about that at historichowelltheater.com. And then it's groups of 20 per hunt with that.
Wow.
Yeah.
It seems like you've had that one before. I kind of remember.
Yeah, we do that every year. We've done that the last 7 years. And then Halloween Day, we actually have a classic monster movie marathon starting at 2 p.m. That's 4 Universal monster movies. Creature of Black Lagoon, Bride of Frankenstein, Dracula, and then Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein. And that's from 2 p.m. to around 8:30. Those 4 movies.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I know we were talking about that earlier
He was
today.
so bummed out.
Yeah, I'm a huge Abbott and Costello fan, so I have the DVDs of all of them and such. So I was like, I get to come see that on the big screen. And I'm like, I have 3 young kids, so I'm going to be trick-or-treating.
Yeah.
But I think
Maybe
that's one of the great things about the theater, that you're able to show a lot of those older movies because, we come in and we rent out with you guys every year to show It's a Wonderful Life, but I think it's so unique because those movies that you see on your TV at home, no matter how big you think your TV is at home, it's not like going into a theater and seeing those classic movies the way they were meant to be seen.
Yeah, there's something special about it because I've always been a big fan of black and whites, right? And just on the big screen is just a whole fabulous experience.
Yeah, you get to see certain, wardrobe or set design or something that's on the small screen you don't quite notice, and then when it's blown up on the big screen, you can kind of see all those little nuances that were meant to be seen originally that it's made for a big screen, and so watching it on your tablet or your TV screen, it's not this. Yeah, it's totally not the same experience.
I'm sure even Alfred Hitchcock, right? Some of those.
Yeah. So one of the things we also wanted to ask is just, since you guys do so many events where people come in, and when I'm driving downtown, I'll see so many different things on your
marquee
of sponsored by this person, or this event's coming in, or somebody's birthday party that they're showing things. How does someone go about renting that, and what does that process look like?
Yeah, so they can go to our website, historichowelltheater.com, and then they click on rentals, and then they can email me their inquiry, and then we just send me the details of what how many people are going to attend, the date they're looking at, the movie they'd like to watch, and then kind of go from there about getting it confirmed. It's really, it's really easy.
And they don't have to have the movie. You have the movie.
It depends. It depends on the situations. If it's a movie that we don't have, they can provide it. That kind of it could be anything available on DVD or Blu-ray.
Okay.
And then if we have it, we'll supply it. If they have it, they can.
Wonderful.
Yeah. And then all the pricing and everything, all the details are on our website as well.
Okay.
For rentals.
Yeah, it seems like it's very affordable. I know that's one of the reasons. It's the location, it's the venue, and it's the affordability that makes hosting an event there really easy to do. You're very accommodating, and we appreciate that.
Thank you.
Right. And, I was talking to our kids about this, and they had a question that they wanted me to ask for you. Can you rent it out to play video games on that screen?
You can. We work with this gaming group. I'm blanking on their name. But they will rent out the theater, and they'll, like, we showed the new Mortal Kombat movie, and then we had Mortal Kombat playing the actual gameplay in one theater, and then they brought in different video game consoles in the lobby and played them that way. But depending, like, they have to provide the game console, and then you can rent it out to play video games if you want to.
Right. They were specifically wondering about Minecraft.
Okay, yeah.
But it's nice to know, because there's so many games, and gaming is such a big part of kids today.
I can imagine a Super Smash tournament on that screen.
Oh, that'd be incredible. Yeah.
So that is wonderful. One of the other things we wanted to talk about is just in terms of with the arts and such, and the local arts situation downtown. What involvement have you had in that, or what, I guess, impact or such within Howell?
I'm one aspect of the arts scene, I guess, and how having one thing that kind of drew me to Howell was the Livingston County Art Council, was the downtown putting on events and activity, the Fantasia Lights and Legends of Sleepy Howell, and the public art, those kind of activities that it's a team effort to kind of
really support.
To kind of make it all happen. I don't know, like, that's, I mean, the more the merrier, I guess, like having the movie theater and the Livingston Art Council and the Howell Opera House and the public art, and that all kind of makes, I don't know, a community kind of come together, and having the arts there. Yeah.
Well, I know we went to an event a couple years ago at your theater where it was either the Howell Glee Club or the Howell Drama Club was doing a Greatest Showman sing-along there.
Yeah.
And that was
just spectacular. I didn't realize that I knew the words to so many of those songs, and that the experience of not just watching, but like singing along with everybody would be so fun. So, I mean, that's a neat thing. Do you get many sing-alongs, or?
Yeah, when we can, we've put on sing-alongs. What's one we've done recently? It's been a moment. I know the Greatest Showman one. I think we did a Frozen 2 sing-along. But yeah, when they're available, we try to show them because they're always so popular.
Gotcha.
Right.
Yeah.
And I remember in college, Rocky Horror Picture Show was always.
Oh yeah, we've done Rocky Horror Picture Show. That's a lot of fun, and people get dressed up, and like there's some really passionate fans, and
that's an experience, because we went to one in college, and like there's like set things that people are supposed to do at specific points in,
Well, I
in the
had
movie.
no idea. This was all new to me. And we had a friend that's like, hey, you should come along. Just check this out. Like, okay. And then it's like, wow, everybody around us was interacting with the movie.
Yeah, and we have the prop bags that are involved, and people can get up on stage and dance the time warp if they wanted to. And we don't have a shadow cast when we show it, but let the audience, let the fans really guide the movie and do the call outs. And but yeah, it's a lot. That's a lot of fun when we do put it on.
Right.
Well, since Halloween is coming up, I'm very curious about this. One of the most haunted places in Howell. That's kind of, I'd be interested to find out a little bit more even.
Oh yeah. Yeah, so I mean, having Portal Paranormal there coming in for those public ghost hunts starting on October 22nd, they, I don't know, they've captured a lot of paranormal evidence, and some of the theater staff have mentioned the things that they've heard or seen in the theater. It's funny when the new employees get hired, like, we don't mention like the ghost, but then they'll point out like, you know, something they might have heard or like seen. It's like, oh, like they thought maybe I was calling their name or something, but then I wasn't. I was like, I wasn't there. You know, like some of the ghost encounters at the theater, but
Right. And I know you said that the theater had been closed for what, 6-7 years before you opened it back up, right?
yeah, like 4 to 6 years, I believe.
Okay. So how much updating went into getting that back up and running?
Yeah, so it was a lot of you know, getting the projectors from film to digital, you know, adding more color to the lobby, like all the like, you know, the carpet, the colorfulness of the theater itself, because before it was very, I don't know, like gray and like sterile and not that fun, and kind of bringing back like the excitement of going to the movies and that Art Deco style, and it has kind of this Art Deco freshness to it, like having those reds and yellows and blues as our color scheme, and then all the kind of the posters and around the theater, and I mean that was that kind of work, and then kind of upgrading it throughout the years of, you know, getting the marquee to be LED, getting the light bulbs upgraded, and yeah, all that kind of stuff along the way.
Right.
You're the one managing all of this, huh?
Yeah, I own it, operate it, program the movies. I have 6 part-time staff, and then, you know, getting the events booked, and, you know, doing a little bit, doing it all.
Good for you.
Yeah.
That's and we really want to focus in on small business and promote that. Within Livingston, we had your neighbor karates across the street there in last week. So that was that episode. And, you know, when you mentioned the Art Deco, that made me think of that the Keller Williams office.
And we're going to be moving right in
hi,
next door.
neighbor.
To
Spring,
yeah. In the spring, we will be there.
And why Art Deco made me think of that is apparently the outside of the old Pearl building. They're going to be styling in an Art Deco format. And so we're excited to see that and to be able to be down there right in the middle of everything, too. Mm-hmm. Even though we still have our office in Brighton, but, you know.
That'll be very, very exciting.
Yeah, it'll be nice to have spots in both.
Yeah. So one of the other things that I thought of, I mean, you know, we've just come through COVID, which affected obviously your business quite a bit. Theaters were forced to be shut down for a while. But I know that you were doing some drive-in out back. How did that come about? How did that work out for you?
Yeah, so we were closed from March until we reopened on Christmas Day, but we were kind of open and closed from October to November a little bit. But being closed for that while, I mean, kind of, I don't know, being creative with what was going on, and how, you know, doing a pop-up drive-in or back parking lot, and doing that Thursday through Sunday with 12 cars per night, and, you know, rather just being closed, but still engaging with our audience and showing movies and doing our popcorn to go that was going on, and then having our virtual cinema that was offered. With the pop-up drive-in, I've never done a drive-in thing before, and trying to figure out how to get the screen and how to get the receiver for the cars and all that kind of stuff. It was like, and then the FM receiver that was required to broadcast the cars, everybody was trying to get those for their own events. So like those were all back ordered, and then trying to get one to do backlot drive-ins. But it was really cool and retro, and we had old drive-in movie ads before, like
Oh, cool.
on the screen, and
Love it.
played kind of, I don't know, nostalgic drive-in music before the movie started, and I don't know, it was just it was, having those sun, I don't know, the employees liked. They always kind of mention like how, I don't know, the magic hour of the sky kind of before the movie started, like that. There's certain like nostalgic, I don't know, like kind of.
Right, it does.
Yeah. Well, that's another thing that's kind of gone away is there's not as many of those. I actually grew up next to a drive-in.
Cool.
So I used to climb the trees in the front yard or in the backyard and watch movies every summer. So, and then when it came out digital for FM, it went from I had to go to the movie to kind of learn it because you really couldn't hear it to, hey, if I'm up there with my Walkman, I can catch the signal. Now I can listen to the movie for free. I dated myself. But
was there a certain movie that you remember seeing at the drive-in?
Goonies.
Goonies, cool.
I love seeing Goonies, E.T. I saw at the drive-in. So quite a few of them. Yeah, I
think we showed both those as well.
Both those,
at
yeah.
Our backlot drive-in.
Now that you have the tech for that and you have the FM, do you think that's something that you'll periodically have pop up for special events during the summer, or?
We were having that in our back parking lot that's now in construction with that.
Oh, that's true.
Building. But we have had it in other locations. It just depends on what's going on with the actual theater, and kind of we could do it, I guess, in another location possibly. So
wonderful.
It's always something in the future that we might bring back.
It's great that it's so versatile. Really gives you a lot of options as a small business.
Yeah.
You kind of need that.
And I don't know, just being creative with what it was going on is going on with your business, and kind of evolving rather than just kind of doing the same old thing.
We definitely saw that with real estate too, and for a time at first we weren't even sure what was going to happen with the business, and then it just kind of flew like gangbusters. And it sort of shifted a little bit because what people wanted in houses changed pretty dramatically. Obviously, home offices became more important, but I would say for theaters, we had a house listed that really wasn't updated at all. We priced it, right where it needed to be. People were tripping over themselves offering, and this was before this year where everything was offering more, but because it had this really nice home theater in the basement. And what it boiled down to is at that point in time, people could not go out to the movies. So those that had a home theater in their basement, wow, that was like gold, Jerry, gold.
Yeah.
And so I think that ended up selling 20,000 above asking.
Yeah, to know that theater was very impactful. But,
wow.
To that point, with the theater opening back up, have you seen an increase in people coming in, or is there still, hey, I'm watching this in my basement now, so, Yeah,
it's a little bit of both. We've had a majority of people that are new moviegoers say that they've moved to Livingston County. That's the most common comment is they've moved to Livingston County last year. They're new residents. And we have new people coming in, and then we have our routine moviegoers, and then a couple that are still kind of hesitant, and then people coming in that haven't been to a movie within a year, and they're like they don't know what to kind of do when they first come in because it's been a moment, but it's a little bit of both, and I don't know. I think we'll kind of see the trend of how movies are released after this year, because I think it's kind of
it's true for the
right.
movie
Well,
like they're
business.
Yeah, they're kind of
changing,
like,
right?
We'll just put it on VOD. We'll just put it in the theater, and then like that
Right.
that theatrical window is going from 60 days to 40 days to day and date. So
Well, that's got to affect you quite a bit, because now instead of a movie playing for 8-10 weeks at the theater, it's snap and it's gone.
we usually play new movies for about 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks. So we weren't really holding movies for that long anyway. And our movies always kind of change all the time. But I don't know. We'll kind of see how movies go, how the
Right.
distribution kind of.
And I think you guys are in a unique position because you can show those classic movies. Right now we have a kind of a gap lag time where they weren't producing movies, so there's not that many new movies coming out. But people, it's interesting. MJR was doing like, oh, we're going to show this classic movie or this classic movie that you could go in. But it's not the same being in the full big recliner and such. It's, you're seeing a classic movie. Why don't you go to a classic theater to see that, and let's get the full experience. I know when you do rentals and such, you guys can roll out the red, literally put the red carpet out. You can rent
the red carpet from us.
Now, have you had any type of award shows or anything where people have rented out to do that kind of unique thing where people get dressed up and they come in for it?
Yeah. We had a birthday or a wedding anniversary. That was like maybe 6 years ago. But they had, it was like, the couple got dressed up in a dress and tuxedo, and then they had the red carpet, and they had like fake paparazzi outside. So when you arrived at their party, they would like come after you, trying to take your photo. And, but that was a really neat event. But that was kind of like our only it was kind of like an Oscar themed birthday event. But we the first year we were supposed to have an Oscar themed party, and our pipes froze, so that event got canceled. But that was the one time we were going to have like an Oscar themed party, but that didn't happen. But,
right.
But yeah.
Well, I know if you guys ever have something like that, we'd definitely be interested in something like that. It just sounds like so much fun.
That seems really fun. Now, so out of curiosity, in terms of 2 questions that I want to make sure to hit while we have time left, is maybe what was your favorite or most unusual movie event? Something, it seems like there's been so many neat things. What was the one that stands out the most to you?
What would that be? There's been a couple, but or
you could think about it for a minute if you want. I can move to my next question.
Okay.
Which is, since you came into Livingston County too, much like some of our listeners, I think.
Yeah.
And so it was this whole welcome to Livingston thing. What's your favorite thing in Livingston County?
Like in Howell, I live downtown Howell. I like the walkability. I liked when I moved here, the local businesses, the restaurants, the events that are put on, the engagement with the community, with the DDA, with the Parks and Recreation. People seem to care about the community, and it being near near Detroit and Lansing and Ann Arbor, and you get that small town that Norman Rockwell feel.
Yeah.
And also being able to go to a larger city as well, and I don't know, and the history of it as well, like people coming into the theater and saying, I went on my first date here, I met my husband here, like those kind of moments. I don't know, those are maybe about once a week someone will come in and say, oh, I saw this movie here, I remember this moment. Or they'll talk about the projectionist from this time of the theater's history. That was kind of like, unlike a chain theater, you're not going to get those kind of moments. So people coming in and kind of that history,
right?
You're helping them make their best life. That you're adding to those memories. That's what it's about.
Right, because we talk to so many people that they're moving into the county and they don't know anything about the county. And we'll say, hey, drive downtown, take a walk, catch a dinner. You'll know whether you feel at home here, whether you like it here, just buy that. And
spoiler alert, everybody does.
Yes. Yeah. Howell, Brighton, but Howell, since you are down there specifically, it is such a nice walkable community. Mm. And I love, we're getting more restaurants down there. The courthouse, it being the county seat, the courthouse is just beautiful. I'm sure on Friday nights during the summer when they're having those concerts across the way, downtown is full.
Oh, yeah.
It's happened.
Yeah. So I'm sure that you get some, off of that, they're across the way, walk over, see a movie. Mm-hmm. So it's a great experience.
It really is kind of that true small town experience, I think, And I think with movies, usually a movie theater would be for someplace bigger, but I love what it is. And like you pointed out in terms of the memories of, I thought about other movies maybe we've seen together in our youth, and I couldn't tell you what theater that was or anything, whatever, but the times we've been to your theater, boy, do I remember it.
Yeah.
Right, because it is that traditional date night for, teens in their 20s, even older people and such, go downtown, walk around, catch a dinner and come see a movie. So, I mean, being able to keep that alive is, we really value your place in the community that you have that for us.
And that's why we wanted to get the word out and get you in here.
Yeah.
And I know I called you real early on and was able to set up this date here. But I also want to kind of reach out to the listeners too, because since we rent Tyler's Theater here every December to show It's a Wonderful Life, we've decided to pick up the second theater to show Home Alone. So that way, a little more kid friendly, but a little something different. At least it's not black and white. Mm-hmm. But for either movie, if any of the listeners are interested, please reach out to us, because there's plenty of room. We'd love to have you. If you're listening, you're enjoying Welcome to Livingston. This podcast has really been fun to do. It'd be great to meet you in person. So please
we're hoping
let us
for
know.
2 full theaters this year.
Oh, wow.
So
okay.
we're really hoping to, because it's interesting, because we've always just shown It's a Wonderful Life, and the adults love that. And we've had some that's like, oh, I've picked up this part or that part on TV, but they've never sat down to watch the whole thing from front to back. And they just love it. But then unfortunately, you see some 10, 11-year-olds that they're sitting in there and they're like, there's some fun parts to it, but to show, Home Alone on the other side, I think they'll really enjoy that.
It'll be fun. But this is like, for us together, like our favorite movie. I mean, even our kids have gotten us quotes from that movie to have on the wall. Nice. Just because we sort of...
And having seen the movie personally myself probably 40 or 50 times, seeing it on the big screen was impactful. I noticed things, like you had said, that I never noticed before. And you hear it differently because you're hearing it also the way it was meant to be heard. Mm-hmm. That surround sound being what it is, it's not the same. Mm-hmm. So anyone listening out there, if you have that favorite movie that you've always wanted to see on the big screen, you should contact Tyler. You should check out the website and have a party and be able to have that experience, because you're missing out if you don't.
Yeah, because this Christmas, people are saying that it's going to be a lot harder to buy gifts and get them sent. What a cool gift would that be? If your loved one, you don't know what to get them this year, right? Start thinking now, because figure out what their favorite movie is and connect with.
Yeah, and contact me sooner than later, because our November, December dates start filling up probably like right now.
Okay.
So we get pretty busy. But going back to that unique movie screening event at the theater, I'd probably say Bohemian Rhapsody, when we showed that was a sing-along. And we had free Freddie Mercury fake mustaches people could put on and sing along. And people got really passionate about singing during that movie. I think that's like, I don't know, like when we showed movies like that, like a Rocky Horror Picture Show, like when audiences really engage with the movie and they sing along or quote the movie, like that's
right.
That's always
and they fun. Recreated that Live Aid concert at the end of that. So I mean, the last 20 minutes of that movie is really a concert.
Yeah.
So that's very cool.
Yeah. No, it's just neat stuff. Oh my gosh, man! I could go on forever with this. Do you have?
I don't think so. Is there anything that we've missed about your theater that you wanted us to make sure we talked about?
They can go to historichowelltheater.com for the show times and just keep updated. We have a newsletter there. It's on the right side of the page. They can sign up with their email. I send out and write a newsletter once a week or so, with kind of the show times, but also freebies. I started a film society about 2 years ago, and we meet once a month and show a movie with more. The film society is more for like people that want to go beyond just what we're showing at the theater, but like independent films or international films or classic movies that might come with a discussion after. So there's a little introduction that I make, and then we have a film appreciation discussion after that's like appreciating the cinematography, the wardrobe, the camera angles, that kind of stuff. So that's once a month, and they can sign up for that on the right side of the page. And then you can go to the Film Society tab at the top and see all of our previous movies that we've shown. But the newsletter is the best place because there's freebies and fun stuff in there with also the show times and what's coming up on there.
Outstanding.
That was really cool.
Great. Well, we appreciate you taking the time, Tyler.
Thank you. Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And everyone out there listening, please subscribe to our podcast. Check it out on any of the platforms that you go to get podcasts. I know we're on Spotify. We're on Apple. You can Google us online and get our podcast there. So please check out our previous episodes. If you have any suggestions or thoughts or questions.
Or real estate needs.
Yes. We are realtors with Keller Williams Living, the Putkela group, and we would love to help you out or answer any questions you have in that aspect as well. So thank you so much for joining us today, and we look forward to interacting with you and hopefully you joining us on our next podcast.
Great. Thanks for joining us. Welcome to Livingston.